like. When? Until 6 a.m. Sunday. Impacts. Plan on slippery road conditions. Slow down and use caution while traveling. The latest road conditions for the state you are calling from can be obtained by calling 511. Now here is your National Weather Service forecast. Winter weather advisory in effect until 6 a.m. Sunday. Rest of today, snow likely late this morning, then rain and snow this afternoon. Little or no snow accumulation. Highs in the upper 30s. Light and variable winds becoming east around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. Chance of precipitation 90%. Tonight, cloudy. Snow and rain in the evening, then a chance of snow after midnight. Snow accumulation around an inch. Lows in the upper 20s. North winds.
Alrighty guys, what is going on everybody, and welcome back here to another live stream here for today. Obviously hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday here for today. Glad to have everyone here. First of all, before we go ahead and get on into it, let's see who is here for today. We have ourselves Caden, we have Ready or Not, we have Cheryl, we have Julie. What's up everybody? Hope all of you guys are doing alright. Glad to have you guys here. We have some more information on the winter weather that is expected to be driving its way through the country. And it's actually going to be pretty interesting just to see how this thing does end up playing out here. So we'll definitely need to be watching this here over the next few days. Caden's here. What's up, Caden? Saying hi, Andrew. What's up? Mark saying, Andrew, what's up? Mark, hope you're doing good. Glad to have everybody here. Once again, thank you all for joining us here on this awesome early afternoon here. So before we really dive into, I'm going to bring in the shades here. Before we really dive into like the what we can expect out of this next storm, let's first of all talk about what is going on right now, because there is a bit of snow that is falling across portions here of Kansas. So Kansas is actually currently getting a decent amount of snowfall across these areas here. Also portions of eastern Colorado, but that seems like it's starting to fade out a bit, as you can start to see how it's starting to withdraw from the state. But still is snowing quite hard here towards Kansas. And the weather radio you hear in the background is actually streaming from Topeka, in which Topeka, Kansas is actually kind of right there in that mixture. Kind of seems like that, that boundary between, that boundary between the warm and the cold air. Obviously the mixture between, the non-winter precipitation and the obviously the winter precipitation, stuff like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and see here. Ryan the Gamer's here. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Cheryl says, hi, Andrew. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Julie says, hey, Andrew. What's up, Julie? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, so we also have a lot of rain starting to move across the southeast. Now, there is actually a threat for severe weather today, which we're going to go ahead and show you guys right now. We have what we call a marginal risk. This is a level 1 out of 5 regarding severity. Obviously, the higher the number, the more severe it could get. But across portions here towards like New Orleans, obviously southern portions here of Mississippi, southern Alabama, and portions here on the far western stretch of western Florida, there's a possibility we could get a few severe storms out of this today. So watch out for that. Obviously, that's kind of a thing we're going to be looking at here for. Now, when it comes to like tornadoes, there's a 2% chance for tornadoes. So tornadoes cannot be ruled out across the Gulf Coast here for those areas. Obviously, I'm not expecting like a outbreak or anything like that. No, that's not what this means. It basically just means an isolated tornado. A tornado cannot be ruled out. Probably not that many here. So that's what we're looking at there. Hail is not a concern, and damaging winds is. 5% chance here for some damaging winds across the coastline, so we'll just be watching out for that. Now tomorrow, we actually have a bigger risk here regarding severe weather. We have another marginal risk across portions here of northern or pretty much like the northern central portion here of the panhandle of Florida, portions of pretty much central and southern Georgia, moving through portions of southern South Carolina. So we have this level 1 out of 5 here for tomorrow as well. Once again, a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out towards the southeast, so we'll be watching out for that. Hail, once again, not a concern, but damaging winds is. So kind of a repeat of the same probability as today. So we'll be watching out for that. Now we move into day 3, which obviously, today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, which is day 2, and day 3 will be for Monday. We have a little thunderstorm threat, possibility of some thunderstorms towards central Florida as the decaying cold front moves through. Also, we have a little bit of a probability here towards Texas and southeastern New Mexico. But other than that, nothing's going on here. Now, once we move into Tuesday, we got a big risk here. This is a level 2 out of 5 as of now. Right this far out, past day 3, so past 3 days out, they start issuing it by percentage rather than an actual outlook. But this is equivalent to a level 2 out of 5 severe threat. Once again, for the kind of similar areas it's affected today. So if you guys are across the yellow here, I mean, you gotta really be watching out for the possibility for severe storms. And as we were looking on yesterday's live stream, if the conditions do play out with all the models were showing, which seems quite likely at this point, we could see a potential tornado event here. And it could potentially be some big tornadoes if all the ingredients meet the criteria. So, like I said, we're going to have to look at that here in the live stream here as well. But overall, I mean, like I said, it is pretty nasty. Like I said, we got to watch out for areas here in southeastern Louisiana, portions of southern Mississippi, southern and central portions of Alabama, and obviously the western panhandle of Florida. That's got to be watching out. Now, if you're wondering here for Wednesday, they do not have any threat as of now, so... but that could change. That probably will change by the time we get a little closer to this. Anyways, but that's just a quick little update here on the current views of what's going on here. And like I said, here's the current radar view kicking off across the country. We got a lot of snow falling in portions of Kansas, also portions here of southern Nebraska as well, northwestern Missouri. We got to really be watching out for that. Let's see here. Or northwestern Missouri. That's right. Let's see here. Ready or Not says, hey, Andrew, what's your thoughts on Missouri? So we're going to take a look here at the future radar regarding things. I know that Missouri is going to be getting some snow, in which we are going to talk about that here right now. So like I said, guys, as a quick little reference, if you're just joining us, this is basically what the picture across the country looks like right now. Snow across Kansas, southern Nebraska, moving into northwestern Missouri. A lot of rain kicking up across the southeast that is going to be playing a big role for a big old storm that is going to be moving its way up here in the northeast region. That is expected to dump some snow towards, obviously, New England region. So we'll be watching out for that. Anyways, now we're going to take this in the future, my friends. Now, if you want to follow along with the time, it's on the top left. You guys can see, that way. You can see right there on the top left there. This is based off of the NAM 3-kilometer model as we're using as a reference for the future radar view. The current time right now is basically 2 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and switch to 2 o'clock. Like I said, this is the latest run here. And as we did see, comparing to the real radar versus the future radar here we see on this model, so snow is falling across portions here of Kansas, and a lot of rainfall is starting to kick up across the southeast. We have high pressure in place across the mid-Atlantic, but that's not going to last too long. As we track our way down here towards kind of around midnight, this snow is going to be mostly exiting Kansas, still kind of falling across the eastern side, but moving into portions of southern Iowa maybe. A few snow showers for portions of northwestern Illinois cannot be ruled out either. Once again, across the southeast, absolutely soaking rain across the regions. Very, very overcast across a lot of those regions. As you can see on my view here, you see the one I'm zooming out here on the far right? Yeah, you can see how there's just a little spot, kind of right there around Tennessee that's pretty clear. But across a lot of the country, I mean, most of the country is in overcast conditions right now. Because you can see the cloud cover stretches all the way, basically from, the main line here, the central line here of the states. That has a specific name. I forgot what it's called. Something parallel. But anyways, regardless, though, but that is what we're looking at. So obviously we are seeing, a lot of overcast conditions here as a result. Now, anyways, we track our way down here further in time for the early morning, kind of around sunrise. We are going to be seeing some snowfall across portions here in Missouri, kind of more in the terms of snow showers. Once again, this is for tomorrow morning, as you guys can see. Like I said, if you're just tuning in with us, it's just right up there. You guys can take a look at the time. And but like I said, obviously here towards Missouri, maybe eastern Iowa through Illinois, maybe southern Wisconsin and portions of Michigan. Could be dealing with a little bit of snowfall. And like I said, here for tomorrow, we do have that severe weather risk here we were just discussing, kind of across portions here of the southeast. So we're going to be watching out for that. Now, as we track our way down here further, kind of for like the afternoon, breaking the morning into the afternoon here for tomorrow, we're going to start to see that snow kick up and amplify across portions here of western Ohio. Driving its way through portions here of Michigan, covering all of Ohio for the most part, except for the southern areas here. Mostly central and northern does seem to be kind of in that snow zone, according to this, the future model here. But regarding what's going on here in the south, kind of towards like the Cincinnati area and south, it seems to, as of now, just be rainfall, according to this in particular model. Now we track away further up here in time, kind of for, after, around sunset for tomorrow, we're going to start to see that snow continuing to push its way up here to the northeast. Areas here such as Pennsylvania, New York, areas here towards Massachusetts, maybe even get some snow. Eventually moving in towards like Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, kind of around midnight for the 23rd. So that's what's going on. Then this system will be exiting here kind of by the later afternoon, early evening here of the 23rd. So that, and then obviously conditions are going to be clear for the most part until the next one, in which the next one is the one we got to watch for. That's the one that's concerning. This is not the one that's really too concerning here. Like I said, there's another one that's moving through. This is just a little system moving through right now. But yeah, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and play this here so you guys can see. That is the that's the future radar view as projected by the Indiana 3-kilometer model. If you guys want to follow along, I said times up there, y'all. If you wanted to see, just kind of for a reference, just me playing it out so you guys can see what happens. Like I said, low pressure system tracks its way up to the northeast. High pressure will build in until the next round of moisture kicks its way down to the south. And you can actually kind of see the beginning of it. Look right here. You can see how it starts to spin across the southwest right there. That is going to be the beginning of a new low pressure system that is going to be kicking up tons of impacts for the country, as that is going to be moving its way up here to the northeast. So we are going to be watching out for this. Anyways, but now guys, I'll tell you what, now's the time we better brace and we better look at the future, the second system that's going to be moving through here, which is what we're going to be looking at. So we will see how things kicks off here. So first of all, my friends, we're going to go ahead and switch on over here to my other website here. This is another one we use. So we're going to be taking a look here at a few models. We're going to take a look at the American GFS. We're going to take a look at the European ECMWF. We're going to look at the blend of models too. And we're also going to, like I said, obviously just to get a reference and multiple opinions from multiple different models in order to obviously, kind of throw out the differences and compare the similarities, if that makes any sense. So the way you read models is not just looking at one and saying, oh, that's going to happen. No, that's not how that works. You got to take all these models, take what they agree on, and put that together. And what they disagree on, throw out. So obviously that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. So anyways, so yeah, here's the GFS, the American models first. We're going to be taking a look at that here right now. Now, first of all, like I said, the system moves through. The little system is kicking off right now across portions of Kansas. A lot of moisture kicks up across the southeast. Maybe a little bit of severe weather possibly later on today or tomorrow for the coastal, the coastal area here towards the Gulf. Then this thing moves through. Now here we go. Now, like I said, watch out across the southwest here. We're moving into the early 24th. You can see right there how it says 1:24:00. So that's pretty much actually the later portion of the 23rd until, like I said, obviously here starting for like the later 23rd, early 24th, we're going to start to get a lot of stuff happening here really for the early 24th, kind of right around, right around there on the sunrise time. Now, this is going to start to fall here towards Texas. Obviously here for portions of eastern New Mexico, portions of the panhandle of Texas, going to start to see some snowfall for the early 24th. A lot of rain for the south, obviously for central portions of Texas here. Now we track our way forward here in time, kind of for more of the afternoon, evening hours here of the 24th. Now this is going to be turning into a lot of snow, as you can actually see, and really starting to infiltrate a lot of portions of Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma, you have a pretty decent chance, regardless of where you're at, of seeing some form of snow. So we got to be watching out for that, as it does look like Oklahoma will definitely see snow. Same thing for the portions of the panhandle of Texas, northern portions of Texas too. Obviously a lot of rainfall once again for the central portions here of Texas. Pretty much just Dallas, Fort Worth, and south. So anyways, but that's kind of what we're seeing now as we track our way here into the early 25th. We start to get a lot of a kick out of this system here. It reaches the Gulf of Mexico. It starts pulling in a lot of moisture. It starts pulling in a lot of fuel. Once that low pressure system comes in contact with the Gulf of Mexico, obviously supplying a lot of warm and moisture-filled air, which is required for, a system like this to perform well. So anyway, so yeah, we have the low pressure system. The warm air starts pulling up here. That's why it's all rain here on the bottom side. And then the cold air actually starts being brought down here from the north, which starts backing in. So we're going to start to get, a little bit of cold air after this event here, which you're going to probably notice. You're going to notice how it's going to be warm ahead of it, and it's going to be cold behind it. Because, like I said, it's pulling up warm air, it's pushing back cold air. So that's kind of what we are seeing here. But anyway, so like I said, here for the early 25th, we're going to start to see that snow move from portions of Oklahoma into portions of Arkansas. It does appear that Arkansas seems to be more into snow compared to what we've seen yesterday from the GFS model. So this model, the newest information, the newest trend here, is showing that areas here like in northwestern Arkansas, maybe northern Arkansas, could actually see some snowfall across those regions. Now this will track its way here to the east, obviously moving through portions of Missouri, maybe portions of northern Kentucky. You can actually see there how Kentucky does kind of show maybe a little bit of snow there. Moving through Illinois, moving through Indiana, obviously Ohio, portions of West Virginia, really kicking off here across like, Pennsylvania, maybe Maryland even. Could potentially see out of that. Maybe the western side of northern Virginia, obviously for the upper elevations, of the Blue Ridge, could possibly see maybe a little bit of winter weather as it's a little bit more cooler up there, so keep on the lookout for that. But as this thing tracks its way up here to the northeast, it's going to continue to batter a lot of people with snowfall. So here for Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So a lot of these areas here that's going to be seeing snow might actually, or across the northeast, such as like, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, they could start off with snow, and as the warm air comes behind you, it's going to probably change to rain. So it's going to probably start off with snow and then turn to rain for a lot of those areas there. As you can see, for example, look right here. So you see there's Massachusetts right there. Look at the western side of Massachusetts and what's expected to happen out of the system here. So we move through. You can see how it starts off in the blue showing snowfall, and then look what happens once we move in towards the later portion. You can see how Massachusetts goes in the green, obviously showing more rainfall as the warmer air starts taking place here. But don't worry, because as the low pressure system sweeps through, the cold air will return shortly after, because we get that cold air that starts backing in from the back here. Like I said, the way these systems work is they rotate counterclockwise. So basically, you have a low pressure system driving a lot of warm and moisture-rich air pulling up to the north, and you get a lot of cold and dry air pulling down from the north, and the warm air pulling up from the south. So obviously, a lot of warm air comes up, a lot of cold air comes down, and it basically just starts rotating. It's a big mixing pot essentially. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. So that's according to the GFS model. Now, here's what we're gonna do. Now, on the models, we're going to take a look here at the snowfall accumulation, but let me tell you something. Before we do, absolutely do not trust what you're going to see here. The reason I say this is because the models are still a few days out. And as you're going to see, there's a lot of disagreement here. There is a lot of disagreement regarding the differences between the models. So we'll definitely be looking at that here. But yeah, we're going to take a look here. Just a little bit of a disclaimer. Do not trust the accumulations you are about to see here. Anyway, so we have the first system that moves through. Now this one you can kind of trust for the most part because it's mostly set up. Now portions in Kansas potentially could see some areas maybe 4 to 8 inches. Obviously according to this model here, that could definitely change. Yeah, across the northeast, kind of the same thing. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to change to 24-hour snowfall so we can see the fresh snowfall that moves through the secondary system. So here we go. So for the early 24th, we start to get some snowfall. And according to the GFS model, it could be a decent amount too, in which we are going to watch out for. So obviously here towards the panhandle of Texas, according to this model, like I said, don't trust this precisely yet, maybe 3 to 6 inches according to that. Now for portions of Oklahoma, this is kind of still showing maybe up to a foot. According to the GFS, once again, don't get your hopes up because this is likely going to change. But yeah, so that's that. Also northwestern Arkansas showing kind of the heaviest, maybe just over a foot here. Then skipping up here to the northeast here, driving perhaps maybe 4 to 8 inches across southern Illinois through portions of central and southern Indiana, maybe northern Ohio, and a lot of places in the northeast, such as New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Could see that as well. But that's that. So like I said, there's the model. Like I said, do not trust that precisely. Don't take your forecast off of that because, like I said, we just use these models as guidance. They are not perfect. They are far from perfect. All right, so now we're going to move into the European model here, and we're going to take a look and see what the similarities and differences are. I'm actually going to take off this jacket. It's a little hot up here. But we're going to look and see what the similarities and differences are based off of these two models. So first up, we're going to take a look here back at the precipitation type and rate. First of all, we have the system moving through. The first one we just talked about, no big deal. But look what happens. So once again, here for the early 24th, we're going to start to get that low pressure system moving in towards portions of Texas, perhaps driving some snowfall for the panhandle, maybe a little bit more further south of kind of more wintry precipitation or winter mixed precipitation could be possible towards the Dallas area, according to this European model. It's possible. But eventually, this will move its way towards Oklahoma. Now, according to the European model, one major difference I'm starting to see here is the fact that the European model supports more ice, more of like sleet and freezing rain rather than snow for portions of Oklahoma. But it eventually turns into snow here towards like, northwestern Arkansas, portions here of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, portions of West Virginia, Michigan, Pennsylvania here, portions of New York, possibly Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine as the system sweeps through. So overall, I mean, the idea is still there. There is definitely still the support of the system there, absolutely, and we can actually clearly see that. But like I said, the major differences, what separates the American model from the European model, is the possibility of more ice, kind of towards Oklahoma and northern Texas, rather than what the GFS American model does have to say. So we'll definitely keep that out here. Now, when it comes to accumulations, once again, as a little bit of a disclaimer for the people joining us, do not trust these yet. It is still too far out for one. The only reason I'm doing this is to obviously compare and see how far off the models are from one another, essentially. That is basically what I'm doing this for. But like I said, do not trust this. If you see something that gets your hopes up, don't let it, because like I said, this can still very, very well change. And wait till the official forecast comes out from us before you start, obviously, preparing for that accumulation. But anyways, so as you can see, we're going to actually switch over here to the 24-hour snowfall. So the first system moves through. Obviously, we talked about that, but here we go. For the secondary system, this one is a lot different. Obviously, limiting a lot more snowfall for Oklahoma. As you can see here, for the northern portions, as compared to GFS, was showing a lot of snowfall accumulation. According to the European model, there's really not as much. Probably 4 to 8 inches at max, according to the European model. Northern Texas, kind of the same thing, locally higher amounts possible for the most part, but most of these areas here around 4 to 8 inches possibly. Watch out for that. But as the system moves up here towards like the Ohio Valley, kind of seems like the majority of the areas here towards like, southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, cutting straight through pretty much the entirety of Indiana, western portions of Ohio too, kind of seeing more in the grounds of 3 to 5 inches compared to what the GFS had to say about 4 to 8 inches. So you see what I'm saying? There's a big gap between both of the models. Between both the American and the European model, there is a big gap regarding the certainty of snowfall. So like I said, that is the reason I tell you not to trust this. Now, if you see posts, if you see anything out there saying, prepare for that amount of snow, and it's just one model, do not trust it. Do not get your hopes up yet. Like I said, that is something that can still definitely change. Now, once this starts to get about 2-3 days away at 3 max, that's when we're going to start looking more at the snow totals and start to be like, okay, so this is what we potentially could see. But as of now, things are still being worked out. Okay, so keep an eye on that. But anyways, yeah, so that's according to the European model. So overall, the differences between the two, like I said, the American model shows a lot of snow falling for a lot of these regions here, for the most part. Cutting through like northern Texas, through Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, southeastern Kansas, cutting straight through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Okay, so kind of moving through those areas. And like I said, with the European model, though, it shows a lot less snowfall for portions of Oklahoma, kind of showing more in the form of ice, like I said, such as sleet and freezing rain. So that is kind of the difference. That is the major difference there. Like I said, that's the reason I'm telling you, do not trust those totals. Now, just for fun, we're going to take a look here at one more model. This is the National Weather Service blend of models. This takes a whole bunch of models, opinions, and it's a mixed opinion type of ordeal. It takes a whole bunch of models and blends them together. That's hence why it's named the blend of models, because it takes a whole bunch of these models and kind of blends them together. Now, we have the first system that moves through here, obviously, for the most of the areas here in the northeast, according to the blend of models, perhaps maybe 3 to 5 inches, maybe locally higher amounts being possible out of this first system to move through the northeast, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. Now, when it comes to the secondary system, as you can see, really nothing too special. According to the blend of models, a lot of the snow keeping west here, perhaps even at maximum 3 to 5 inches here across the way, which honestly, it's a decent amount of snowfall. I'm sure a lot of you guys have not seen that snowfall yet. For a lot of people still in that snow drought this year, this could be a changer of it. Definitely could be a changer of it. But anyways, like I said, not as much here for Oklahoma cutting through. Portions here in southern Missouri here, maybe a little bit more. Once again, kind of 3 to 6 inches possibly. So watch out for that there. And then once we move in towards like the Ohio Valley, now this is an additional amount, by the way. This is, you can see we have the first system that moves through, and this just adds on the accumulation from the second system. So in this case, it's possibly showing here maybe around, a little bit more here. It's kind of hard to tell, which that's the case. I wanted to go ahead and say with you guys is that we should just continue to watch here. Now, for the most part, towards like the northeast, it does show maybe a decent amount of snow, but really, I'd say probably about 4 to 8 inches out of this next one that could move through the northeast here, according to this model, which we'll definitely keep an eye out here for. Anyways, but that is indeed what we are talking about, my friends. So that is the latest info. Now, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and switch on back here to a different model here. We're going to look to a different website. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to look at a few models, and we're going to discuss the severe weather potential on this. Like I said, what we were looking at yesterday was very concerning regarding the wind profile of the atmosphere. Basically the winds at certain elevations, moving in certain directions and speeds, is very concerning. Especially towards the lower portions of the atmosphere. This could seriously have, like I said, this is pretty bad here. So let's go ahead and switch on over here, guys, to the other model here. We're going to go ahead and move on over here, my friends. So we're going to switch down to the southeast here for y'all. And first up, we're going to take a look at the GFS model. I want to see what this model, you know what, I could probably go back to this website here, because I forgot this one has the European model too. So yeah, let's just do that. Let's go ahead and move over here to the southeast really quickly, because like I said, the southeast is a target area here regarding the severe storms here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We're going to start off with the European model here, and we're going to start off with the energy that is available here in the atmosphere. Anyways, but like I said, basically we are seeing, what we're looking out for is values here about 500 or above, essentially. So look out for that. It's basically saying that there's enough energy in the atmosphere to allow for thunderstorms to fire off here. So tracking our way down in time, obviously, first system moves through, but look at this. So here's the problem. So according to what I've seen here for the last few days, it really seems to be quite limited on energy in the atmosphere preventing or allowing for thunderstorms to fire off here. And some of those areas here barely even reaching up to 500. As you can see, it's kind of more isolated towards the south. So with that being said, I mean, honestly, if we're being honest here, it really does not show as much energy. But the problem is, and the main concern I have, and which I'll show you guys here really quickly, is like I said, we take a look at this here right now. We're going to switch down here to the bottom portions of the atmosphere here. Like I said, obviously here's the winds across the bottom. And like I said, the major concern, the thing that's really got me a little concerned is the fact of how strong these winds are. Look at this, nearly 70, 80 knots of winds, which is essentially is about near 90 miles an hour. So this is a couple thousand feet up here. Like I said, this is seriously just about probably 4,000 or 5,000 feet up in the air, and they are screaming north. I mean, at very, very fast speeds here. Once again, they're around 90 miles an hour. And like I said, with the lower profile we see here, that obviously shows us the tornado potential, in which we got to be watching out for. So we have a strong lower level jet here. We switch up here towards the middle portions of the atmosphere, and you can see how obviously as we go through in time, we have a very, very strong upper level jet here too, or mid level jet here, over 100 knots. So the winds are there. The wind shear is there here, which is really, really, like I said, which is really, really crazy. So with that being said, like I said, the winds are there supporting a potential severe weather event, and a potentially nasty one if there's enough instability, enough energy to actually kick off storms. Now, the good news is that energy as of now regarding thunderstorm formation seems to be kind of low, which is definitely good. But anyways, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Any snow headed for Iowa? We just had a big snowstorm, wondering if we are going to be, or if there are going to be any more. Thanks. No problem. So for portions of Iowa, as we actually did just look at here a little bit ago, which I will switch back here to this view. We're going to take a look here back at GFS for a second. So obviously here out of this system that we're going to see, it depends on where you're at, but according to a lot of these, a lot of the models here, as you can see here in the future radar reference here towards Iowa, you can see how portions of Iowa tonight or kind of later on this afternoon, evening, through tonight into tomorrow morning, kind of for portions of like as far north as central Iowa and the portions of southern Iowa could see some winter weather here, but it should be out by tomorrow morning, essentially. But yeah, so watch out for that. I mean, nothing too crazy. Now, when we look at the GFS model here regarding the future with this next big snowstorm that's going to be moving through, It does appear that you're not going to be affected according to this in particular model, which I will double check with the European model here as well, just to get an idea base here. Because like I said, you can never just trust one model, right? So for that, I'm going to go ahead and see really quickly for you. If I change here to precipitation type and rate, track way down to first storm, and according to this, the second storm could actually, according to the European model, the second storm could have some impacts for portions of like eastern Iowa, but really, even if there is a bit of snow, probably not going to do too much. So that's just something to keep an eye out here for. But like I said, more of areas here towards like Illinois and Indiana kind of seems to be more affected by this. As you can see, with this next big storm that moves through, yeah, you can kind of see how like Indiana, Illinois is going to be possibly like really affected by this here. But that's what we're looking at. Let's see. Got to let them know. Thanks, Andrew. No problem. Let's see here. How is it looking for St. Louis, Missouri area for the week? So when it comes to St. Louis, as you can see there, we're actually already on that view. We are watching out for impacts of winter weather here towards the St. Louis region. Between a lot of models here, between a lot of model agreement, we are indeed seeing that. As you can see, we track way down here in time. Yeah, so both the models do support potentially heavy snowfall towards St. Louis. When it comes to the GDPS model, which is basically the Canadian long range, which we're going to look at here right now, this model does support the snow as well, as you can actually see right there. So yeah, so St. Louis, I'd say you got to really be watching out for this. Basically for the early 25th into the late 25th. So basically from the early morning of the 25th, which I believe, let's see here, what day is the 25th here? Let's go and bring up my calendar. Let's see here. So the 25th will be on Wednesday. So for Wednesday, you got to be watching out for the snowfall across those regions there. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. But like I said, there's a lot of models that do support this system here. It's not just the one. There's definitely quite a handful of them that does support it. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And like I said, according to some of the rates here, according to what the models have to suggest, it's honestly looking pretty strong. Perhaps a few inches per hour rates, which what the models are talking about here. Let's see. Thanks, man. No problem. Let's see here. Bush Pilot, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing good. Saying not looking forward to this next week. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that. Like I said, it's still a little bit too early regarding the snow totals here, because like I said, the models are still in heavy disagreement for the most part. But overall, they are agreeing on the system existing, and they are pretty solid on where the track of this is going to lead up to. But and regarding to essentially how much moisture will be advected north into the system and how much the rain or the snowfall rates, big difference comparing to those models, and that's what leads out to drastic changes in accumulation. Is because they're just it's as simple as they're just basically, too spread out at the moment in order to tell. But anyways, yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it. Like I said, what's really concerning in Bush Pilot, I don't know if you're still here, Quentin. If you're still here, I want to show you something. I don't know if you've seen this yet, since you're a fellow weather person like I am. Look at this. If we take a look at the southeast here for this next system, now the problem is the instability that's in the atmosphere. But like I said, the lower level jet, have you seen how nasty that is? Look at that, right there. Like I said, if that plays out, if there's enough energy in the atmosphere to allow for storms to fire off in general, we have some screaming northerlies of around 80 knots. It's not just one model that supports this. Look, that's the European model, the GFS model here. Also supports a very, very strong lower level jet here as well. Perhaps kind of near the same here, maybe around 70, 80 knots, which that's a bit concerning if you ask me. Also for the mid-levels, like around 500 millibars, you can see how the trough that moves through, pretty strong streak here, for the most part. We're kind of talking around 90 to 100 knots, which is pretty crazy. So we'll definitely have to watching out for that. Regardless, like I said, the winds, they are just crazy. The shear out of this is just absolutely crazy out of it. So like I said, this has been in the models here for the last few days too. This is not a new thing that's popped up today, because like I said, I've actually been watching this here yesterday too, and it was showing the same thing. So at this point, it seems quite probable. It honestly does. It does seem quite probable that could actually be playing out here. So anyways, but we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how things go from here on out. Like I said, it's just something we're going to need to watch. It's still several days out, which If you don't count today, it's about 3 days out. So I mean, things can still change. You know, we're still in that gap here of about, you know, obviously things changing. So we'll keep an eye on it. But anyways, like I said, that's what's going on there, my friends. Now I want to go ahead and show you all something. Like I said, we'll move here back to one of the main screens here. First of all, the current radar, we have a lot of snow falling towards Kansas into portions of southern Nebraska, northwestern portions of Missouri. Yeah, that's what's going on now. A lot of advection, a lot of warm air and moisture-filled air, a lot of precipitation driving up into the southeast here at the moment. But anyways, like I said, so that's kind of what we're looking at. You know, that's kind of what we're seeing here as of now. But like I said, the severe weather we have here for Tuesday, we have ourselves a 15% risk here, which is equivalent to a slight risk, or a level 2 out of 5 here for, like I said here, for day 4, which would be on Tuesday. But anyways, like I said, that is going to be a big concern for areas here towards like southeastern Louisiana, portions of southern Mississippi, central kind of southern Alabama region, and the western panhandle of Florida. Obviously kind of being a bit of a concern here. So we'll see how that plays out here. Let's see here. Do I think that instability will be higher than the long-range models suggest? I really believe so. You know, honestly, if you ask me for my opinion on that, I believe that the models, and that's probably why the Storm Prediction Center has put this risk out that far north, even though a lot of the models do not support the energy getting that high up north. Whenever you typically have a strong lower-level jet stream, you know, kind of the one like we're looking at right now, like I said, what a lower-level jet stream is basically just a big belt of winds close to the ground, and they're moving north, coming from the south, moving north. And since that's the case, you got to think that that's going to be bringing a lot of the environment with it. It's going to be bringing a lot of moisture. It's going to be bringing a lot of warm air. I think more than what the models are suggesting. Definitely is a possibility, in which I do think that is. I really do think that is what we are going to be seeing here. Once again, we'll take a look here down towards the lower level jet just to show you guys. First system moves through, and then there you go. Secondary system, absolutely just nuts. 70 knots or so. So like I said, obviously, you know, we're going to have a lot of advection, a lot of strong air. I mean, you can see this. I mean, this is, like I said, not too far away from the ground either, a couple thousand feet up. We get a lot of this warm air advecting here to the north, bringing the warmer air, and then the colder air coming from behind will obviously interact. There's your cold front. So obviously, that's the thing here. You know, that's obviously the, you know, the question is, how much energy will be available? That's kind of the really only thing that's limiting this as of right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll definitely watch out for it and see how this thing goes. Let's see here. Am I still in Florida? Yes, I am in Florida. I'm leaving next weekend. Actually, a week from today. Yep. I haven't seen a jet that strong in a long time. Yeah, you or me either. It's like I said. If you typically see a jet stream like that, you know, towards the lower levels, it is actually pretty concerning. You know, if you see something like this. Now, like I said, the good news as of now is that the models don't suggest that much energy in the atmosphere, but it really would not take much to allow for violent storms to form out of that environment, which is pretty interesting. But overall, it's a bit concerning. It's something we need to watch out for, and we'll continue giving you guys updates here on it. We'll probably do another live stream tonight, probably sometime later, probably around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. I know most of you guys will be in bed, but it is the weekend, so we'll see. But yeah, we'll do another update as new models come through. Obviously, it will give you guys more information on that fun stuff and all. But anyways, like I said, guys, I mean, if you have any final questions regarding this, like I said, feel free to let me know, because like I said, I'm here for you all. I want you guys to be aware of the situation that's happening here and everything like that. So if there's anything that I can specifically help you with, let me know. Put it down in the comments, and you know, I'll do whatever I can in order to help out as much as possible. Like I said, I'm here for you guys, care about y'all. And if I didn't, I would not be here right now, obviously. And I would not be helping you guys out. So like I said, if you need anything, hey, let me know. Anyways, let's see here. Can't wait to see what spring holds for severe weather in the south, central, southern Illinois. Honestly, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this severe season plays out. The climatology models supports a end-zone neutral condition, which is not La Nina or it's not El Nino. I'm sure you've heard of both of those. La Nina means cooler Pacific oscillation. El Nino means warmer Pacific oscillation. And with that being said, we're kind of in a neutral state, which is the boundary between El Nino and La Nina, which is just kind of flat. So, I mean, honestly, it'll be interesting. You know, it'll really be interesting to see how things do kick off here. Let's see here. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Should we bet on guard for severe weather? So as far north as North Carolina, I have to say probably not. Probably not anytime soon here. Let's see here. Jenny with a $5 super chat. Jenny, thank you so much for that. That is super nice of you. Big shout out goes to you. Thank you so much for the donation. You absolutely rock, Jenny. You did not have to do that. Once again, big thank you, Jenny. Thank you for supporting the channel. Bug says, thank Andrew. No problem. Like I said, no problem, y'all. Now, like I said, before we head off here, I do want to show you guys really quickly. Like I said, we take a look here at the risk over the next few days here. If we take a look here, we're going to go ahead and turn off the radar. That way it's not blocking anything. But here for today, like I said, one last time, guys, here for today, we have a severe weather threat across portions near New Orleans, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, portions here towards, western panhandle of Florida. Like I said, it's a marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5, nothing too special, but it's a possibility for a few isolated severe storms. Now, tornadoes, 2% chance of having some, really. Like I said, not a big deal. Just look out for a few isolated tornadoes. Maybe 1 or 2 could fall across the highlighted area here. So keep an eye out for that. Then when it comes to hail, like I said, hail, nothing really too concerning about it. And also with damaging winds, though. Yeah, damaging winds is actually kind of a concern for today. Now, for tomorrow, regarding the event, we also have another marginal risk here with the same concerns here. 2% tornado risk, just covering a little bit more area here, as you can see. So obviously increasing the probability of overall tornadoes forming. So that's possible. Hail, once again, not a concern. Damaging winds is 5% risk here. Once again, nothing too crazy. Then moving to day 3, we don't have anything going on regarding severe weather. But like I said, for Tuesday, though, that's where we have the big concern. That's where the big system moves through here for the 25th here on Tuesday. Got to be watching out for that because, like I said, this is going to be bringing some nasty conditions most likely. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on it. Like I said, regarding severe storms in the south and regarding some winter weather for even the southern and central plains. I mean, like I said, for the majority of the areas that's going to be impacted, just as one last little look at this, guys. Like I said, if you guys are in basically eastern portions of New Mexico, the panhandle of Texas, maybe portions of the northern portions, far northern portions of Texas, through Oklahoma, maybe southeastern Kansas, through Missouri, through northwestern Arkansas, through Illinois, through Indiana, through northern Kentucky, through Ohio, through Michigan, through possibly West Virginia, through Pennsylvania, through New York, through Connecticut, through Rhode Island, through Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All of those states is likely going to be impacted by winter weather in those areas we selected. So you can kind of see it's a big, long streak if we kind of circle those areas there. That's kind of the areas that's probably going to be seeing the snowfall, out of the system. And like I said, with that low pressure system that sweeps its way through, it's going to be dragging a cold front down to the south, obviously bringing up some warm air here to advect north and bringing, some cold air on the back end side to push its way behind the system here. So that's kind of what we are looking at. So overall, like I said, next week, kind of early next week for Tuesday, if you're in southeastern Louisiana, if you are in the southern portions of Mississippi, central southern Alabama, western panhandle of Florida, even portions of southwestern Georgia, please keep an eye on the weather because nasty severe storms could be possible here. Carl says, how does South Dakota look? So South Dakota is actually going to be fine for the most part out of this system here. You don't have to deal with, obviously, with any severe weather at this point, which is good. But you got to be watching out for, really not even the snow either. So honestly, you're looking pretty much okay regarding things. Like I said, here, just a quick glimpse of what's going to happen here towards South Dakota. As you can see right here, really just not too much. Obviously, this is just a few days out here, and you can see not too much happens. We've got a lot of high pressure in place here, so it's going to be relatively fine for the most part. So. But there, Carl, so we're not going to see much of any activity happening there towards South Dakota. All right, my friends. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up here for now. We've been live here for about 45 minutes. I gotta do some things here today. I'm actually over at my girlfriend's house, and we're going to have family dinner and stuff like that. So, gotta get busy on making food and stuff. So, if you guys did enjoy it, I'm going to go ahead and ask if you did enjoy it. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Like I said, if you guys would like to support us, like I said, what we do, feel free on clicking that little dollar icon on the bottom right. It'll help support programs. It'll help support media in general and everything like that if you guys want to. If not, don't worry about it. Like I said, just you guys being here is more than enough. And once again, thank you so much. Jenny says, will Virginia get any snow on Wednesday? I'm going to say it's unknown at the moment because there is models that supports it for the western side. And since you're kind of on northern Virginia, probably not, but it's going to be close, which I'll keep you informed about that. As long as you stay tuned in here with that, Jenny, then I'll definitely keep you updated on the situation because we'll be doing live streams until the event happens, essentially. But anyways, well, once again, everybody, thank you all again for joining us. You all absolutely rock, as always. Like I said, guys, we're going to head off here for now. Tomorrow, or later on today, I should say, we're going to do another live stream for the later models that come out this afternoon and evening, so we'll have fresh information for you. I think it's really, really good here that we do, like I said, I think it's really, really good that we do numerous updates here, which is definitely good. Coolman says, what's for dinner? We're having lasagna. We're making it from scratch, too, which is me and my girlfriend, we've done that. It's like a big thing that we do now is we make lasagna, so. All right, my friends. Well, once again, that's going to wrap it up here for tonight. Once again, thank you all for joining us. Jenny, once again, thank you so much for the donation. You absolutely rock. Very, very much appreciate it. All right, my friends. Well, once again, I hope you have an amazing rest of your Saturday. Stay safe out there, my friends. And like I said, we'll keep you all informed. Like I said, just hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. That way you guys, like I said, that way you guys are, staying up to date with the systems and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But all right, my friends, well, the stream's going to end here in 2 minutes just so you guys can say goodbye to your friends and family who might be in the chat. And all right, guys, until next time, I will catch you all later on. See you later, my friends. Catch you all later on.
Is not expected at this time. Here are the 1 p.m. conditions for the local area. At Topeka, fog was reported. The temperature was 35 degrees, and the relative humidity was 92%. The wind was calm. The pressure was 30.09 inches and falling. At Manhattan, light snow and fog were reported. The temperature was 35 degrees, and the relative humidity was 85%. The wind was calm. Around the region, at Beatrice, snow was falling with a temperature of 29. Rain was falling with a temperature of 37 at Emporia and 38 at Wichita. It was cloudy with a temperature of 37 at Lawrence, 38 at Kansas City, 31 at Omaha, and 42 at Springfield. At Concordia, snow and fog were reported with a temperature of 32. Once again, at Manhattan, it was 35 degrees with light snow and fog. Once again, at Topeka, it was 35 degrees with fog. For the following counties, in Kansas, Geary, Jackson, Jefferson, Morris, Potawatomi, Riley, Shawnee, and Waubonsee. Winter weather advisory remains in effect until 6 a.m. Sunday. Snow. Additional snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches. Where, north and west of the Kansas Turnpike. When, until 6 a.m. Sunday. Impacts. Plan on slippery road conditions. Slow down and use caution while traveling. The latest road conditions for the state you are calling from can be obtained by calling 511. Now here is your National Weather Service.